Podcast.
All right, everybody, welcome to the Fresh Jive Podcast. We got two special guests joining me today. We got Mr. Zaki Sheikh and we got Mr. Samir Mulvey as my co-host. Welcome to the podcast, guys.
Thanks for having me, Morose.
Thank you for having me.
Excited to be here today.
Yeah, no, both of these guys have been friends for a long time, and so we're just going to be kind of focusing on Zaki and your real estate career today, Zaki.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I can't wait. It's awesome. Thanks for having me here. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. I mean, and kind of diving into how I know Zaki, I'm actually friends with your wife, Maheen.
Yeah.
Shout out Maheen for letting Zaki, who has a father of three small children, to come out on a Sunday night and spend time with us on the podcast.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, how's it been with the three new? You have a newborn. How old's the third one now?
He's 9 months. I mean, the whole experience is amazing. I wouldn't trade it in for anything, but it's challenging at times. Let's just say that.
So how'd you convince Maheen for you to get out today and just come hang out with me and Samir on the podcast and shoot this?
I told her I was going on a world-renowned podcast.
The Fresh Jive Podcast is just that, actually.
We are now sponsored by Seven Leaves. Shout out Seven Leaves. I know what's it called? With three. I mean, I have two kids myself. It's hard enough.
Yeah.
With the third one and a 9-month-old baby, it's definitely hard. So, Samir, how do you and Zaki know each other?
So we're related, actually. So he's my cousin. Known him his whole life. We grew up together. Yeah. So know him from when he was, just a little kid running around. A bad kid running around to who he is today. Having his own real estate career going, his own financial career going. So 3 kids himself. So. Yeah, come a long way.
No, and one thing, I've been bringing a lot of different friends onto the podcast, right? And I was like, your name definitely came to mind. I was like, I got to have Samir on. Samir's been a longtime friend of mine as well too. We recently won an MBL championship together. AK Trey.
Great season, overall.
And so Samir's a longtime friend of mine. So I was like, I got to have Samir on. But I was trying to think about, and Zaki, I was like, going into your real estate career, I was like, hey, that'll be definitely great, because one of the things we've been doing is just kind of like looking at people, their careers, what they've been doing. And I was like, and I know you made your transition to real estate, and I was like, that would be perfect. And I was like, hey, you know what, my co-host for that episode, Samir, I think that would be great. And then what's it called, the fact that you guys know each other for so long, I thought it was a perfect mix.
Well, Morose, I've been waiting months for that invite. I was waiting for Morose to message me, hey, I want you on the next podcast. As soon as I got it, jumped right on it.
Honestly, I'm so happy you guys both joined me today. So Zaki, let's just kind of jump right in a little bit. Mm-hmm. Let's first of all talk about before getting into real estate. Let's go rewind the clock a little bit. Let's take us into the life of Zaki from 0 to 18. Where'd you grow up? Where'd you go to school and all that?
So I grew up in West LA, Culver City area. I was actually born in England. I came here when I was 1 year old.
So is that where that accent's from?
Yeah, definitely don't have the accent. I wasn't even able to talk when I moved here. But yeah, that's kind of, I grew up in those areas. That was what I considered home until I got married and moved to Irvine, right?
Oh, so you've been in Culver City pretty much your entire youth, for majority of your life, actually.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. And growing up, what interests, hobbies did you have in high school and all that?
Just like any normal kid, playing basketball. I played a lot of video games actually when I was a child. But
basketball, Sam. What's Zaki's basketball skill range as a GM?
I think he could hang in D3. At some point
how come you don't come out and play ball with us and stuff?
No, I might have to make an appearance. We'll see.
Yeah. Add that into all the list of other things you're doing.
If I can find time.
Maheen's gonna be sitting there watching this, just shaking her head all upset the whole time. You definitely got. If you play basketball, come out. You got good size on you, height.
No, I wasn't always this big, right? Okay. I got my growth spurt 11th grade that summer.
Oh, okay.
So before that, my voice didn't crack. I was short. yeah, everything kind of changed in 11th grade for me.
So I'm guessing you didn't show Maheen any of the kid pictures or anything like that?
Actually, I will say, growing up, Zuggy had like the biggest ears. Like that was one thing about him that's just stuck out about him, you know. So he finally grew into him. So
see, see, this is the reason why I have Samir as my co-host for this episode. For this type of details and information.
If you want the dirt, I got the dirt too. So just reach out to me.
Okay, so then go after high school graduation. What was next for you?
So after high school, kind of went to college. I went to Northridge. I majored in finance. From there, me and my wife and I got married.
So wait, okay, so let's backtrack a little bit. So when did you graduate college? What year?
2013.
2013?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, and when did you meet your wife?
So I'm not sure if I should say this, but I knew my wife since I was like 14 years old.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so you guys knew each other.
Yeah, we had mutual friends, and we just kind of.
Why couldn't you say that?
It's okay to have friends that are females, right?
At that time, we weren't supposed to be talking, right?
I mean, it's okay, right? And also, you guys have 3 kids, married. Who cares now,
Doesn't matter at this point.
Sorry, Auntie Uncle.
Auntie and Uncle are watching the Fresh Time podcast. They're like, what the heck?
I thought they meant 2014.
Oh, man.
But yeah, like 14 years old, we knew each other. It was kind of like on and off till we were like 18.
Okay.
Got married at 26.
Oh, amazing. Well, so we'll discuss those details with Maheen's parents when they come on as a podcast.
Yeah, we gotta have them.
Yeah, they'll be guests on future episodes. Okay, so then, so 2013 you graduate, right?
Yeah.
And you got married which year? 2016, you said?
15.
Oh man, Zaki,
man.
the cameras are on.
I know it's been 9 years. Going on 9 years.
So 2016.
Yeah, there you go.
Don't worry, I'll edit that part out. No, I'm leaving it all in. Maheen, you're gonna see this whole thing.
Oh man.
So
Could be in the doghouse after this.
Oh man. So after you graduated college, did you go into working right away? What'd you do?
Yeah, I was an intern at a PR agency. Then kind of transitioned into a financial analyst, and then senior financial analyst, and then I had the opportunity to go to a mortgage company where I was on a project where I implemented a commission software for the mortgage company.
Okay.
We onboarded like 1,700 employees onto this commission software. Like prior to that, it was being done on Excel. Very old school, prone to mistakes and things like that.
Yeah.
So they wanted to try to transition to, get the human aspect out of the calculations. And I was, I leveraged my skills as an analyst and kind of helped with that project. And then from there, I had the same opportunity, but at a much larger scale, at a bank, City National Bank, and we implemented software there as well. Yeah.
Okay, nice. So, and how long were you at City National Bank?
About 2.5 years.
Okay, and then what happened after City National?
So after City National is now I'm at Mechanics Bank.
Okay.
And I'm kind of doing the same thing, but I'm on the HR compensation side.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then what made you kind of switch gears into like the HR side?
So it makes sense, right? If you're calculating commissions, you want to be in HR.
Okay.
It's just normally it would be housed under finance, but there are certain regulations. The OCC will come in and kind of say it needs to be held under HR. Yeah.
Got it. Okay, and then at what point? And then what happened next after that?
Well, I kind of fast forwarded way. That's
Okay.
where I'm at right now, right?
Okay.
9 years later after I got married.
Yeah.
But after that, I stepped into the real estate industry. I've always dabbled in that industry. Like when my wife and I first got married, at that time we were, had full-time positions. We were just trying to look for another stream of income, right? We stumbled across this one of those online courses where you pay $1,000 and it'll teach you how to make money. And we went into it. I bought the course. It was $1,000, and it taught you how to make money subleasing properties. little did we know at that time, it was actually teaching us Airbnb arbitrage.
Yeah.
So in the first few months of us getting married, we spent the next 3 months like not going outside. Just after our full-time positions, we would go into these modules in this online course and knock them out. But we actually executed on what we were learning, right? So Maheen kind of became our like salesperson. She would start calling landlords and things like that and asking them if they're okay with us, subleasing their property. It was kind of advantageous for the landlord to work with us because we're washing, we're cleaning their units multiple times a week.
Yep.
We give them monthly income on time, sometimes even multiple months in advance. And so it made sense for the landlord at that time.
And on top of that, they were not being rented out anyway.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So one of the first places we expanded was Venice Beach, which became our most popular units.
Where were you guys living at the time?
Beverly Hills.
Okay, so you guys were in like the LA area.
Oakland.
Okay.
Yeah. Like Miracle Mile area.
Yes.
So we expanded in Venice Beach. That was where we started. Give you an example of what we were making at that time. It's like a one studio apartment was, bringing in like $300 to $400 a night.
Oh, amazing.
And this was before like people even knew what Airbnb arbitrage was.
Yeah.
So, we had luck on our side at that point. From there, we expanded to Culver City. We also had a unit in Lake Arrowhead. That was great. And then, as you know, you're a lawyer, laws change. So the STR ordinances changed in Los Angeles. You weren't allowed to, sublease a property unless you owned it, right? So that threw a wrench in our whole process.
Well, did you guys see that law, like the being lobbied? Did you see that? Like, was it a bill that was being voted on? How? Because I'm not familiar with that.
So that's funny that you said that. So it started with Anaheim. So Disney lobbied to get rid of them because it was taking away from their revenue, right? And so, we kept an eye on it, and then, it kind of streamlined all the way through Los Angeles County.
So was it a city by city bill, or was it? So it was city by city. It wasn't like a whole state ordinance, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
So each city kind of governed it.
Oh God. So you guys were seeing that, and you're like, that's going to directly impact you guys.
Yeah.
Right?
So what we had to do is completely change our business plan at that point, right? We had to close down all our locations.
Really? So you guys weren't being able to, if you're grandfathered in before the bill or anything like that, there wasn't anything like that?
No. It was a complete ban.
And did this take place in all the cities you guys were operating in, or were there any like holdout cities?
A majority of them. There was the Lake Arrowhead home, but it was tough to get out there when things went wrong.
It's much further away.
It was tough to manage. This is that. It's not like a hands-off kind of business, right?
Of course, yeah.
But we ended up closing all our locations, and then it gave us time to take a step back and kind of revamp our business process, right? That's kind of what led us to Orange County area. So we started expanding. We bought our first home, and that's kind of where I learned that's kind of what led me into becoming a real estate agent, right? That whole process of buying our first home was so daunting. You're getting all these files sent to you. You have to read them, understand them, work with your loan officer, and so that whole process, I just took a step back and just there was a better way to do this. Like, I wish I had an agent that would, walk me through each step, tell me what I'm actually signing. We didn't really have that, right? So, luckily we got the house and things like that.
Yeah.
But that was one of the main reasons why I got into real estate. I just felt like I could do a better job explaining to my clients, everything that's being sent to them, why it's being sent to them, and give them the history on that, right?
No, exactly. Especially you were on the other side of it, right?
Exactly.
And you saw all the things that you wish your agent did. And that's what you learn from, right?
Exactly.
And then you take that experience into it, and then like, hey, when you're going to be that agent, you remember, feeling like, oh, I didn't get the information there. So you learn from that, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Got a question for you.
Yeah.
So when you're in the short-term rentals, what's the craziest story you've had as a tenant that came in?
Oh, man.
You must definitely have a lot of crazy stories.
I'm sure.
Yeah, at one of our locations, there was an altercation. Someone actually got stabbed under.
What?
Yeah, so we do a much thorough process on vetting the people that are coming in now, but in the beginning we didn't do that, right?
Yeah.
And, fights and things like that were unheard of at the time, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it did happen. There was a police were called. There was
Wow.
But luckily, there was no like financial ramifications to that.
Yeah.
But our neighbors hated us.
Oh man,
Yeah.
did you catch it on video?
No.
Was the person okay?
Honestly, I don't even know.
Man.
I found
As
out
long
a
as you
few
got
days
paid.
later, actually.
Oh wow.
Yeah, from
Wow.
a neighbor.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was intense. And
well-
then I saw the police report.
Oh man.
Wow.
Now the other question is, how many times has Samir rented one of those short-term rentals?
He's a permanent ban. Who knows what he's gonna do there?
Samir, I feel like you've been on a few lists of.
I'm on a few band lists at the moment, guys. So I work on different aliases at the moment. So wait, well, I have one more question. Do you have any property damage that happened that incurred that was pretty extensive?
Yeah, I mean, like one of our places actually flooded, like a pipe
man.
burst, a tenant's fault, you know. But yeah, I mean, luckily we have insurance and things like
Right,
that, and
right.
get it fixed and stuff. But it does throw a wrench in your income and stuff like that. Yeah,
Well, how many properties were you managing at your peak?
about 8.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then what did you like? What system did you guys? I mean, do you have an Excel sheet? What process did you guys do to keep
Yeah,
track
I mean,
of everything?
Excel's definitely one of them, but you have to utilize certain tools, right? Like when it comes to like people checking in, sending them automatic messages, codes to doors, and things like that. We try to automate it as much as possible. Like we hardly had to go to our locations to check them out, right? You have a good cleaning service, good handyman, and that's pretty much all you need.
And you guys were, I mean, in terms of your property locations, if you were spread out, did you guys use the same handyman, same cleaning service at each
Yeah,
location?
luckily we were able to, except for the one in Lake Arrowhead. That was far. That was a
Right,
whole
right.
new set of team, a whole new team that we had to utilize there. But majority of the homes that we were managing were within, like, I would say a 15-mile radius, so they were able to get to each one. Yeah.
And you kind of were talking, I mean, it's hands off in a way, but you definitely have to they have a lot of oversight too, right?
Yeah, every day.
Yeah.
Right. There's constant messaging between you and your handyman, your cleaning service, your clients.
Now, is this something that you felt was getting in the way of your full-time job?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely hard to manage, but that's why you have to take the steps to automate the things that can be automated.
Right.
So it's hands off, but you're still spending like 3 hours a day on it, you know?
Got
Yes,
it.
work smarter, not harder.
Yeah,
Right,
that's
so-
the goal, right?
Yeah.
But it doesn't always work that way.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people think that real estate is completely hands-off investment, when it's really not. Yeah.
Was there ever a moment that you were like, man, I don't want to do this anymore when dealing with all of the different property issues?
I mean, yeah, like when the ordinances changed in Los Angeles, that was a dark time. Let's just say that, right?
Yeah.
Like you built this business and then it's gone overnight, right?
Yeah,
as
right.
Laws change. But yeah, I mean, I think every business kind of goes through that. There are times where you think the light at the tunnel's not even there, and then sometimes you can see it, right?
So then after the ordinances came in, how did you guys pivot out of that and go to your next thing? You said you were mentioning you bought your first property.
Yeah, so like I said, as the ordinance changed, we changed our business model, right? We didn't want to be in that position ever again. So we started investing into properties versus, renting them out and then doing the Airbnb arbitrage.
Yeah.
So once we started, we expanded in Orange County, and then places like Laguna Niguel, Mission Viejo, Irvine.
So that first property you bought with a different agent, what were some of like the big issues you had with that agent?
The agent was fine, but it's just when you're sent all these documents and all these files to sign, it's like you're almost signing away your life, right? You don't quite understand what it is you're signing unless you sit there and read and research. And at that time, we both had full-time positions, right? We had no idea. We were kind of just like, let's just get this over with kind of thing. But looking at it now is like, I wish I was like handheld a little bit more and just explained things, right? yeah, that was kind of the gist of it. Just felt like I was in the dark during that process.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, I don't know. Honestly, I didn't know what I was citing. I was just like, I
Right,
want to buy
right.
this house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when you guys were looking at different properties to obtain, were you looking for like ready to go houses that you can just start renting right away, or were you looking for like possibly like flips or anything like that?
Not flips just yet. I think I'm dabbling into that now. But before, it was just like, how do we get a house so we can, lease it out, or, short-term rental it, and, start bringing in money.
Yeah.
So that house that we did was a turnkey house. It was ready to go. All we had to do was furnish it, set it up, post it, and bring it in. Yeah.
Got it.
But yeah, there was a lot of, like, we didn't just pick any random house, obviously. There was a lot of searching, just making sure that, we can maximize, our ROI at the end of the day.
Yeah. What is one advice you give to someone that's looking for a real estate agent today? Like, hey, they come to you today, hey, I'm looking for a real estate agent, but I'm in like New York, not your local area, for example.
There's a lot of agents that, deal with tons of clients, right? But I would go for an agent that's, readily available for you. Like being able to text them and get a response back right away, There's not many of those, right? All the big name agents, they have multiple people. Half the time you're not even speaking to them, right?
Right.
So you want to have a personal relationship with your agent, because you're going to be dealing with them nonstop from looking for a house, and then during the close process, which is like over a month sometimes.
So then let me ask you this question. How do you handle that when you get texts at odd hours of the night, right? What's your policy on that?
So, I mean, at any time I'll respond back if you text me.
So if I'm text you at midnight, you respond back at that time?
Yeah, I mean, remind you, I have 3 kids.
Yeah.
So I'm up.
Oh, well, that's true.
Yeah.
No, I mean, just because sometimes people say, hey, like during working business hours, or like, there's family time that, that, hey, I'm not going to respond to people, at that time. I mean, there's those type of things that you got to balance out, right?
Yeah, it makes sense. But I'll keep it, like anytime I do send something to my clients and things like that, I make sure I thoroughly explain what I'm sending them and why I'm sending it, right? And what it accomplishes. So I think if you do that legwork in the beginning, you have less questions moving forward. But again, like, I'm always open to any questions, even if you're my client or not. Yeah.
So when you decided, hey, I'm going to be a real estate agent myself, right? That initial time you get your license, you're an agent officially, right? You have no clients right now.
Yeah.
What was going on in your thought process? Like, hey, how did you go about getting a client?
So there's a lot of barriers to entry, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So, I mean,
tell me a few of those barriers for the people who don't know.
Okay, so a lot of people don't trust new agents, right? They don't give them the benefit of the doubt. They think that only certain agents can give you the best price, when it's not true, right? The negotiating part is anyone can do it. So and then also getting your name out there, right? But
no, exactly. There's a new client. Hey, how many houses have you sold?
Exactly.
Hey, I haven't sold any.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Let me go to this agent who sold 100 houses.
Yeah. Exactly. So, I mean, my recommendation would, approach the people around you in your community. Let them give you a chance. But every agent has a brokerage, right? And within those brokerages are seasoned agents that help you through every single process. So let's say if you don't know an answer, you can go to your brokerage and they can help you out. So it's like any agent can, close a deal on a house.
Yeah,
they can bring in a more senior agent and help.
So then, I mean, that's good advice too, in terms of like, reaching out to your community. Is that what you the approach you took on?
Yeah, 100%. Like, helped like a few people within my community, and they gave me a chance, and I was able to help a buyer buy my first home.
So that was going to be my next question. What was your first transaction? Did you buy a home for somebody, or did you
I represented the buyer.
You represented the buyer. So how was that first transaction?
It was great. I mean, I had a lot of training. Like I said, I was on the buy side at that time, like at least 4 other times. So I knew what was coming, right?
Right.
Being able to walk them through that process and keep them at ease, I think, was the best.
Did anything go wrong that first time?
Yeah, I I would, yeah. I mean, there was a mix-up of like, what they advertised as the square footage wasn't actually the square footage. It kind of included certain things that shouldn't be included. So there are certain hiccups. There's hiccups in every transaction, like even the ones that I've bought, right? Yeah, but there's things wrong with the house, but you negotiate repairs and things like that.
Got it. And then from that first transaction, what did you learn, like how to approach the future transactions?
I think you learn something through every transaction. I think being able to move things a lot slower. There's not a rush to this. You have 30, 45 days to close the deal. Sometimes even the quicker ones are like much easier as is, where the seller's not willing to do anything. It's just you want it or not kind of thing. But yeah, I mean, you learn. I think being able to close a deal is fairly easy. It sounds a lot more daunting than it needs to be. A lot of things are just kind of California law that you have to send over. But yeah, I mean, what I've learned is like, don't be afraid to tap more senior agents to help you through the deal. Yeah.
And how about social media? How's that helped you? Because I've seen some amazing videos of...
Hello everyone, my name is Zaki Sheikh, your go-to real estate agent in Orange County. As some of you already know, back in 2017, my wife and I embarked on an exciting adventure in Los Angeles.
Producing amazing.
Samir, have you seen... Zaki looks like an angel sent from heaven about the way he speaks so nice and soft.
And then I see him in person and I'm like, oh wow, whoever did the work did a great job.
No, I think the first video you posted about it, I literally messaged Maheen right away. I go, this Zaki sounds like an angel sent from heaven above. I think those were my exact words. I'm going to see if I can find that message. It was the most like beautiful, soft, well-spoken.
That's who I am.
Just such a soft, beautiful voice,
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I wish I had someone to hold my hand through the process, right? And with the knowledge that I gained through this career of mine, it's just like it's only right to pass on that knowledge to make it easier for everyone else, right?
Yeah.
Because before I bought my first house, I thought it was impossible to own a home, right? And then little did I know it's an easy process.
Did you talk to anybody about being a real estate agent before you decided, hey, this is what I want to do?
No, it kind of just made sense, right? Like we were buying properties, trying to expand our business, and then obviously you would give away a certain percentage of the sale, right? It only made sense for us to become real estate agents,
right?
And, do it ourselves.
Did you know any real estate agents, like on a personal level, before that?
No, I can't say.
Not really.
Yeah.
Okay, and so then. When you did the social media thing, did that help bring any clients in, or did that get any good leads going?
Yeah, so you use your social media accounts to filter people through to your website, right? And there they get an in-depth analysis of who you are and what you're doing and things like that. So you have a link tree and people visit your site. You can see who's visiting, and then you reach out to them. You run ads on social media. People respond to your ads. Right from there you just kind of build a client list, right? And then you start marketing to them. And then slowly you get clients.
Did you ever do any house showings? Because I know a lot of real estate agents use that as a way to like get more clients as well too.
Yeah. So there would be like in the beginning where like there's seasoned agents at your brokerage. You ask them if you could market yourself and represent the buyer at house showings and things like that. So yeah, that's a very useful tactic.
Got it. Is that something that you employed yourself?
Yeah, in the beginning I did, but having a full-time job, you're not always readily available with those viewing times. So I free up after 5 o'clock and no one really views houses at that time.
Got it.
So I know your wife played a big role in you becoming the man you are today. Like she's been in your life since 14, or was it 18? You decide. But could you talk a little bit more about the role she's played in your life?
Yeah.
from where you were to who you are today?
Did Maheen text you to make sure?
Let's just say I've known Zaki for a very long time, and I've seen who he was and who he is now. So but she also messaged me on the side. Hey, make sure you drop this.
Hey, who was that, Zaki, back then? Why don't we explore that a little bit?
I don't know if the cameras can handle that today. But
this portion will be edited for our the OnlyFans and Patreon, our subscribers.
No, man, I owe everything to her, man. She's changed my life for the good. She's been amazing, super supportive. Yeah, man, I can't even put into words on how much I appreciate her.
Yeah, absolutely. She told you to say that, didn't she? No, I'm kidding.
It's from the heart.
It is.
No,
Shout out to Maheen.
No, and honestly, like I said, I've met you through Maheen.
Yeah.
Maheen's been a great friend of mine as well too, and we actually used to work across the street from each other in downtown, and it was always so funny. And I've told her this too, because she would always text me, "Hey, let's go get lunch," right?
Yeah.
And honestly, it was like Russian roulette playing, getting lunch with her. Either it'd be super healthy pressed juicery, right?
Yeah.
Or she'd want to go to halal guys, right? And I'm like, oh God, which one is it going to be today? And of course, Maheen's a great friend of mine. So if she texted, hey, let's get lunch, I'd be like, oh yeah, I'm down, without asking, hey, where do you want to go? And at the same time, I'm always trying to like get in shape too. Yeah. So I was like, okay, if she wants to do pressed juicery, I'm okay with it. I'm trying to lose weight. I'm trying to get in shape, But sometimes she's like, oh, let's go get halal guys. And I'm like, thank you. Let's go. So honestly, it was so much fun working across the street from her, because randomly we just go and get lunch and just do stuff. So that was a fun time when I was working in downtown.
Yeah, she's super sweet. I've known her since we were teenagers, actually. Like you said, we're the same group of friends.
And before we actually started recording, Zeki mentioned that Mahina wants to be a guest on the Fresh Eye podcast. Yeah. So look for her in the future episodes. We're definitely trying to get more women on the show. Maheen is a renowned executive. And like you said, she's been a big part of their real estate business too. So it'd be great to get her perspective on this as well too. So Maheen, we wanted you on the Fresh Eye podcast. But Zaki, coming back to you though.
Yeah.
So as far as your real estate career goes right now, I saw you recently closed on a house not too long ago, right?
Yeah, in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
So I always try to help out the community. The community is kind of branches out from like LA to South Orange County. So I'm readily available to help, close any deal within that area.
So if any viewer wants to get in touch with you, how should they reach out to you? Why don't you put your we'll put the link in the bio in the description. Right? But what's your social medias accounts and everything?
My phone numbers, my social media. I'm open to receiving anything. Yeah,
we'll put the links on this video so everybody can reach out to you, get a hold of you. Let me ask you this question: what's next for you in terms of real estate? Do you want to continue growing it? Are you looking at? You mentioned you're looking at flips next too, as well.
Yeah, so I'm slowly getting into that. There's a lot of learning. When it comes to that, there's so many things that could go wrong and so many things that can go right. But yeah, we're in an interesting time, right? When I was expanding my business, interest rates were super low.
Oh yeah.
And now they're super high.
Yeah.
So you just got to be very careful on your next step, and especially when it comes to flips.
With interest rates as high as they are right now, are you seeing a decrease in buyers right now at all, or what?
Yeah, it's obviously it's slowed down, but homes are still going. On average, I get a newsletter from the DRE, Department of Real Estate, right? The average home stays on the market for 2.5 months, so they're still moving, right?
Yeah.
There are buyers, and what I could say is if you're looking for a home for your family, I wouldn't wait. You can always buy now and then refinance later, right? But when it comes to investing or flipping, I'd be more careful and hesitant.
Do you help people with flipping houses?
Yeah, so I'll do I'm friends with a lot of contractors. I could get quotes for people, just kind of give them a broad idea of what it would cost to get things done, and then what would be the market value of that property after it's built. So yeah.
So can you describe the perfect client for you? What does that look like?
I think clients come from all walks of life, right? But ones that ask the questions are much more prepared and more likely to close on their deal, right? There's a lot of clients that, are thinking about getting into it kind of prematurely, go to an agent when they should be speaking to their loan officers and their banks and things like that, just to get an understanding, like getting pre-qualified, pre-approved, having a better understanding of what they can afford. And I think that's like the client that's the most prepared is the best, right?
Yeah, right.
Okay. And what about, have you had any clients that were terrible to work with? And are you filtering those out more now? Or like, how do you approach that?
No, I give everyone the benefit of the doubt, right? But, there are people that are not sure what they want, right? So they, kind of drag you around. But, I mean, I don't mind it, because I know it's like people are making the biggest decision of their financial life, right? And if I can help in any way, I'd love to. I don't mind at all.
So then what do you do about if somebody like who's unsure, they're not prepared, they don't really know what they want, and if you feel like they're just kind of wasting your time? Do you have a conversation with them? Well, how do you approach that?
Yeah, I mean, you just make sure that, they take the right steps before they start looking, right? If if they can only afford a $1 million home, you can't look around for a $2 million home. It's just not going to happen, right? But my advice there is like, if get into what you can own now, and then you can always do like 1031 exchange for a step up in a home later, right? Because over time you make money on the equity side, right? Yeah. So you take the equity that you earned in one property and move it to the house that you want, like your first house is never going to be your forever home, right? That's what I tell my clients.
So now, pivoting a little bit, what advice would you give yourself for when you were starting out, if you could go back in time?
Oh man,
what would you tell yourself?
That's a tough question. I think what I would tell myself is, go all in, like to focus on what you want the most, right? Build that career that you always wanted. I think it's hard. It's hard to. I'm not sure what I would say.
Sam, what would you tell yourself 5 years ago? What advice would you give yourself? I mean, it's unrelated
Bitcoin.
unrelated
buy
to
Bitcoin. That's the first thing I tell myself.
That's a
buy crypto.
That's
get on it. Jump on it early.
Okay, that's a given. Obviously, everybody's doing that if they could travel back in time.
Yeah.
But what would you tell yourself? What advice would you tell yourself?
One thing is,
And
I feel like we all think about ideas, but proactively just jump into it. You won't know until you're actually in that line of business. To see where it's going to take you. And you could always pivot. Like, Zeki's a great example of that. He started off in short-term rentals. From there, he pivoted into real estate. He bought homes for himself, became a real estate agent himself now. So it's all about pivots along the way. So the first thing is diving into it. There's always reasons not to do it, but it's more of get into it. Worst comes to worst, you fail. So just get up and, dust off and go again. So that's one thing I wish I did, is I think I was very hesitant in initially getting into real estate because I thought about it more than actually, diving into buying, right? So and then you just see, you're like waiting for the right time. Oh, rates will come down, house pricing will adjust, but in the long run, it's all going up. So that's one thing I think I would tell myself.
Sam, you spent some time in New York recently.
I did, yeah.
Yeah. When were you out there?
I was out there last year. Okay. Well, 2 years ago now, actually. For about
2 years.
Yeah.
Man,
well,
I feel
a
like
year and a half ago. Yeah.
That's crazy. I still feel like you were just there.
It was a great experience. I did summer and fall really out there, just to experience life in downtown. I think that's one thing that.
How is it different than being in you're officially Buena Park right
Buena
now?
Park.
Yeah. How is it living in New York compared to Buena Park?
Night and day. First of all, it's very densely populated. There's always something going on, and city life is just different versus suburbia, right? If you're not familiar with Buena Park, it's Orange County suburbia life. So one of the greatest things for me was to experience a downtown lifestyle, walking everywhere. One thing I didn't know is even getting groceries, like you have to plan ahead of how much you're going to buy just because you got to carry everything back. You don't have a car to throw everything in. So that's one example.
Did you go to the grocery store and have 10 bags and you're walking back?
The first time I went to buy things, I spent more $300, $200, $300 at Target, right? Yeah. I'm like, I need to buy this. And I'm leaving, and I'm like, oh crap! Now I gotta carry all this back with me back to my apartment. So it was like doing deadlifts, stopping for a bit, deadlifts, stopping, so you make it back. But all in all, I think it's a great experience. If anyone had the chance to live in downtown somewhere, I would recommend definitely doing it. Got me out of my comfort zone as well, and I think it helped me grow in many ways as well, and just look at the world in a different perspective as well. So
Zaki, you guys lived in downtown for a while too. I remember.
Yeah.
I love that.
Pre-COVID.
I love that apartment of yours
Yeah.
that you guys had because it was right across the street from the Staples Center, right? I remember I would randomly get Laker tickets or Clipper tickets at the time. I remember I hit you up randomly. I was like, "Hey, I got a game. You down?" And you're like, "Yeah." You just walked right over.
Yeah.
How great was it living right there?
Dude, it was amazing.
Do you miss it?
I wouldn't change. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
But I heard a lot of stories about how downtown has changed after COVID.
I thought it got better.
Did it?
Yeah, I thought it was like more development, like more restaurants, more things, and of course, like Skid Row is like further down, right?
Yeah, it was on the other side.
Yeah, and it's like, I mean, I thought it was getting better.
Yeah.
But what did you hear?
I just heard it getting worse.
I think the area you were in.
Yeah, exactly.
Really?
But man, looking back, man, I think those were the best years like downtown.
Yeah, I think post COVID, I think it got pretty bad, and then it's starting to get better again. But it was just like you mentioned, some areas got pretty bad, other ones just stayed stable, right? So depends where you were.
Yeah, I mean that's one regret I have of never experienced living in downtown and living in like a high-rise apartment or whatever, just to have that experience. I think when we got married, we moved out over here to Torrance right away and lived in the suburban life. And I was like, man, living in downtown would have been fun.
It's quite the experience. Just being able to like walk to restaurants and things like that. That's like
and then
like,
just walk.
Coming from Irvine now, it's like you can't walk anywhere unless it's a park or something.
Yeah, and everything closes a little bit earlier too, right?
Yeah,
so
like 8:00.
How was it being in New York with no car?
Honestly,
I mean, because you can't have a car over there. There's no parking, right? So, I mean, I'm a California guy. I need a car like to be able to go. Yeah,
just to gotta embrace it. I feel like you embrace it for what it is. You gotta go with the notion, I'm not gonna have a car. I'm gonna walk everywhere. It's a lot healthier for sure. I will say, you get your steps in. The only thing is sometimes in the evening, or when it's really bad weather, you want a car, so you just Uber or what it is. But it's a little inconvenient at times. But honestly, I think it was a great experience. Just to experience the subway life as well.
Did you do the taxi thing over there?
You hail a taxi. I've done that a couple of times. So you learn how to navigate it when the lights on. That means they have that means they're available. Lights off. That means they have.
I can't stand taxis.
So.
I can't stand
really
them. No, because they scam everybody. They rip people off.
Yeah. Well, you know what?
I don't trust taxis.
I felt like taxis were cheaper than Ubers for the most part. Were at least in Manhattan.
The thing is, I'm sure that's the case, but I prefer Uber, just knowing the cost, and I'll know that I'm not going to get ripped off.
Yeah, that's fair.
I prefer that. Even if the Uber is going to say Uber is going to be $20, taking a taxi could be $10 to $15.
Yeah,
I'd rather go to Uber, but knowing that I'm not going to get ripped off.
Yeah. You have a set price. I think that's important to understand as well, because sometimes you're like, I don't know how long this meter is going to run up. So that's fair too. So.
I can't stand taxis.
And it runs up when you're not even moving.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You like taxis?
Not a fan.
Not a fan either.
So I have a question for you, kind of transitioning back a little bit into real estate. And so, we're all aware the fires just happened out in LA, Pacific Palisades. Unfortunately, a lot of people lost their homes. I want to get your thoughts on how you think this is going to affect the real estate market now in Los Angeles. That's the first thing I want to understand from you.
That's an interesting question. I think it would affect the cities around the fires the most, because all those people want to relocate. Their kids are in school and things like that. They don't want to make major changes. They already went through a life-changing experience. Like adding on it to that stress to their kids as well, as I think it will be challenging. So I would say those neighboring cities would see an influx of people driving the prices up. But yeah, I think it's more of a local issue than it is, out here. But I have heard like a lot of people in the Palisades are kind of turning to Newport.
Oh really?
Yeah.
That's that's crazy, because I have a friend who lives in Malibu, right? And when the whole thing was going down, I texted him,
right?
And I was like, "Hey, you guys okay?" He responded, hey, yeah, they're okay. I was like, okay, cool. You know, I talked to him. I'm not even joking. Like just literally yesterday, his house burned down.
No.
Right?
No.
Yeah, and then I was like, what do you mean? I texted you that day. His whole approach was he didn't want to stress everybody out, you know?
Oh, wow.
He was like, he didn't want to make a big deal out of it and stress people out. And that's why when I knew he was in that area, you know? And he texted me he was okay. Then he called me yesterday and we talked and he was like, the whole thing's gone. And man, yeah, I know. And so they're all staying at a hotel. Really, a really good friend of mine, right? So one of the things I joked with him about, if you recall on my birthday, this last birthday, I gave everybody a shirt with my face on it, right?
Yeah.
I met up with him for lunch. I gave him a shirt. I asked him, did you grab the shirt? You know, we had a good laugh about it. I was like, why didn't you grab the shirt before you guys evacuated the house, you know? But he had a good laugh about it. But like they're staying in a hotel in Santa Monica right now. And, you know, they had a house in Malibu that was, you know, a beautiful home and just completely gone. He sent me some pictures. It's just leveled.
Yeah,
completely.
it's crazy to see how fast the fire moved. I was watching this time-lapse video that someone had posted online, and you just see it like it's far away, and then, you know, a couple hours later, it's right in their neighborhood, moving really fast through. And, you know, people are asking, why weren't the firefighters there? They just couldn't control it with the conditions.
And the sad part is, like, insurance companies were taking fire insurance off their
man, that's crazy.
policy.
I know.
That's insane.
I mean, and a lot of people are saying, okay, hey, these houses in the Palisades, they're rich, they can afford it, they can do that. I mean, that doesn't change, man. It doesn't matter how much money somebody has, to lose your home is like such a devastating thing. And I have a funny story, not funny about that, but kind of related to that in some minor way. A couple of weeks ago, you guys remember the Tyson Jake Paul fight?
Yeah.
Or was it Logan Paul?
Oh man, that was brutal.
Oh, it's terrible. But anyways, I was over at Amatsky's place, right? We're going. Rimsha, my wife, calls me, says the house is on fire.
No.
Our house, right? And I'm like, what are you talking? And first of all, she didn't even call me, right? I'm at Ahmad's house, right? And next thing you know, Ahmad comes running in with his phone. She called him on her phone, and Ahmad's like, Rimsha's on the phone. Your house is on fire, right?
Oh man!
Wow.
And I'm like, when you hear that news, I'm like, what are you talking about, right? So anyways, I pick up and she's like kind of crying. She's like, the house is on fire. Can you come home right now? I get up, not even thinking anything, right?
Yeah.
Jump in the car and I'm just driving home.
Yeah.
And I'm like calling her over and over again, like, what are you talking about? So she didn't even have her phone on her. So she called from a neighbor's phone. I look at my phone. It has the thing where it's like, you know, anti-spam, where it silence numbers you don't have.
Oh, I see.
I have like 8 missed phone calls from my neighbor's phone because I don't have them saved in my phone book, right? So it was sending it straight to voicemail, right? And I'm thinking, what in the world is going on right now, right?
Yeah.
I'm literally in the car within like 30 seconds, flying home. And the thing is, we have cameras around our whole property, right?
Right.
I'm jumping on the camera. Like first I put on autopilot. I'm like on the cameras. The house looks perfectly fine. Okay? And I'm like, oh wait, what am I missing here?
Yeah.
The house is on fire, right? Okay. Turns out a towel caught on fire in the bathroom, right? And that's it. And then the nanny already extinguished it, right? And that's it. That's all that happened. And I told Rich, I had a long talk. I go, there's a big difference between saying, hey, something's on fire in the house and the house is on fire. When I hear the house is on fire, I'm thinking engulfed. And obviously the first thing I'm thinking about is, are they okay? You know? Okay. And, you know, and they're all okay. They're at the neighbor's house. And then I'm thinking, oh my God, all of our stuff, you know? And again, it's just stuff, you know, who cares? But, you know, end of the day, if everyone's okay, that's what matters, right? But, you know, like things you can't replace, pictures and, you know, heirlooms, whatever, you know, I mean, again, it's not a big deal, you know? I always think about what would I grab? I was like, oh, let me grab my PS5, you know? Like
this whole situation kind of made us think, like, how unprepared we are.
100%, you know?
You have 5 minutes. What are you going to do? Right? What do you grab to at that point? So.
No, exactly. What do you grab? I mean, I would definitely, I've thought about it. I was like, what, like, and especially with the whole fire that's happening in the Palisades, because, you we live in LA County.
Yeah.
A lot of people did reach out to us saying, "Hey, are you guys okay?" Especially people that, like out of state who aren't familiar with the area.
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh no, we're safe from it." Like in our area, we did get a lot of smoke coming down this way, right? Air quality was really bad, like to the point where like do not go outdoors, and like some schools shut down and all of that. But you just think about what would you grab, in that situation. It's scary.
Oh man.
So I'm not a big conspiracy theorist, but I have a question. There's been rumors that this fire was caused on purpose to drive reconstruction in the area. I don't know if you've heard that, especially in the Palisades, because they had cut off any type of construction happening there. So, there's a theory that a conspiracy theory that this is caused because people want to reconstruct in that area as well. So who knows? But I wouldn't be surprised.
A lot of cities kind of do that. They want to keep the aesthetic of the community the same, right? They don't want like a McDonald's coming in and building a big old building next in their community and things like that. So that law is kind of used on a lot of like beach cities, so it's kind of normal.
Okay.
But I don't go. I mean, you think the Olympics is going to be built there or something?
And the train or something?
No, kind of what you were saying. I've seen that theory too. I think Gavin Newsom said LA 2.0.
Yeah.
And they're using that as a way to construct more like CCTV everywhere cameras and all of that, and make it like a smart city type of thing, which I'm not opposed to. I'm all for it,
Right.
Like have cameras everywhere, you know? Like if it makes the place safer, why not, I'm not, there's cameras everywhere as it is. There's nothing wrong with that in my eyes, like just record everything,
Absolutely. But hey, you never know what they're still trying to determine the root cause, but it's just crazy to think about that. And they had arsonists, like it's crazy. There's arsonists out here trying to cause more fires as it is anyways.
That's insane.
So
and you guys see the video of this random. There's been a bunch of videos. I don't know if you guys have seen them, where the people are just like walking in like Topanga like hills. Yeah, and the guy who lives there's like, hey, what are you doing here?
I've seen that.
And
blowtorch in his hand.
And then you were like, why are you here? Like there's absolutely, and there's a curfew in place too. Like there's nobody supposed to be around out there. Especially if you don't live in that area.
I wouldn't trust that guy.
I know there's a lot of things. Sam, you said you're not a conspiracy theorist, as you give out a conspiracy.
That's the one I was thinking about recently. So
Let's go on that a little bit. What other conspiracies do you believe out there?
If we're gonna dive in,
Yeah, let's dive in.
Let's 9/11. Let's have one.
You're going heavy.
We're not going in today. We're not going there today.
Fresh Chives is bad.
We gotta cut this part out, guys.
Okay, let me ask you this question. You guys seen the orbs over New Jersey? The UAP orbs that are going on. What do you think they are?
I feel like the government government knows what they are.
Do you think the government knows what they are?
There's a lot of like classified, programs that happen that even people within the military don't have clearance for, right? So I could easily be that, and I don't think the United States is a country where they'll just let someone come in. Like you've seen what we've done in the Middle East, right? So that bringing to our doorstep, they wouldn't allow that, right?
And these things are above military bases, though. Right?
Like I said, it could be.
So you think it's our own government?
Yeah,
it's
like
our
a
own
classified program that they could be running.
Or it could be another country, kind of spying into this country as well. I feel like, right? Like,
but we've bombed other countries for less.
I noticed nobody's saying extraterrestrial.
Zach, I'm not an alien person.
You think it's our own government, Sam? You think it's another government?
Yeah.
I don't think it's any government in the U.S. I think it's extraterrestrial. 100%. I think it's extraterrestrial.
Really?
100%.
But we have satellites constantly running through our lower atmosphere, right? Elon said himself, he's like, we never had to change the course of a satellite because of an unidentified object, right?
I think he's lying.
Do you believe everything Elon says?
Yeah, I think he's lying.
Not lately.
The thing is, there's so much footage and verified from the government. Zaki, you said something interesting. You don't believe in UFOs or aliens that exist at all.
Yeah, no.
You think there's not any other form of life in the entire universe? In the entire
I haven't
universe.
seen any proof.
I feel like there's life somewhere in the universe
Let me ask
beyond our imagination.
Have you guys
know?
seen? Have you guys seen the jellyfish UAP video?
No, I have not.
You guys haven't heard
No.
about that?
No.
You've never even seen it?
No.
Let's pull it up on the screen right now. No. Okay. This is an official video from the government, Pentagon, released. Right? They've confirmed this is legit. Right? There's this thing. Right? It looks like an alien in like this bodysuit. Right? Like standing upright. And think about it this way. Man, I'm getting chills describing it, right? Think about, you can't see the face or anything. It's like this whole like suit. You can see limbs, like arms, right? Like there. But from the waist down, it's like tentacles.
No
right?
way.
Like literally tentacles, right? And that's why they call it a jellyfish, right?
Interesting.
It looks, imagine how a jellyfish looks, right? And this thing, you can't see with your eyes. Right?
Okay.
It's on this thermal camera from the military. And it's flying through a base in, I think it was either in Kuwait or Iraq. It was in Iraq. Right? The thermal camera, the military camera caught this thing flying over its base. Right? And you can see the heat signature just completely changing from hot to cold. And then on the regular camera, invisible. And this thing is flying straight through the base, and the camera is locked into it.
Interesting.
And you can see it going through, and it flies, and it's floating in the air, flying through the base, and it goes straight into the water, underwater.
Wow.
And then all of a sudden, it's underwater for like 17 minutes. It comes up out of water, and a 45-degree angle shoots straight up to the sky.
Wow.
Isn't that the second scene from Independence Day? No, I'm kidding.
No, Independence Day. No, I'm telling you, the alien in Independence Day has those tentacles.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, that's a theory that they have too, and it's a conspiracy theory that Hollywood is in cahoots with the government to prepare the civilization and the population. They give them tidbits of this is what aliens look like to prepare everybody for that.
Interesting.
Wow.
So
No, man.
It's like iRobot with the AI technology.
fishy.
They might take us over.
So I'm going to show you guys this video as soon as we're done recording. So that way, I mean, we should probably bring it on the screen right now. If only we had another person manning the TV right there, we could watch it. No, but and there's actually another video. So have you guys not seen all the congressional hearings about, the whistleblowers and all of that?
Yeah, a little bit. I've seen a couple, but like I said, it's still
until you see the actual evidence yourself.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
So these whistleblowers have come out and in front of Congress testified. Have you seen anything about the?
I have not. No.
You've not seen any of the whistleblower, the congressional hearings.
I've seen like in passing, but I haven't looked into it or watched it.
So these guys, there's been 2 congressional hearings where these people who've worked in the military and government have testified in front of Congress.
Yeah.
Right. And they can go to jail for perjury and all of that, right?
Yeah.
They've testified that they've been part of government
Super secret operations.
government operations where they retrieve UFOs that have crashed sites, and they've testified they have non-human biologics, basically meaning alien bodies.
Interesting.
Right? And they've testified that yes, we have it in possession. And a video just came out. Just came out yesterday, of a video of them retrieving a UFO, which was an egg-shaped UFO. A helicopter is carrying it with this like crane, and you can see it on. The video is available.
Yeah, look, I believe there may be extraterrestrial, beings out there, but as far as like them invading us, like that I don't believe.
I don't think they're here to invade us.
Yeah.
I honestly think. So here's another theory, right? And I'm hitting you guys with a bunch of theories, especially you guys are not in the whole UFO thing. As you can see, I'm deep into it.
We'll give that away.
You're very well versed, actually.
There's a theory that there's going to be direct contact, open contact with extraterrestrials in the next 3 years. Right? Within the next 3 years. So that's what they're saying. You're going to see a lot more sightings this year. What they're saying is before contact happens, they want everybody to be aware of their presence. So you're going to see them floating above oceans. That's what the theory is.
Okay.
Right? They're going to be just sitting there visible for everybody to see just so people are used to the idea of, hey, there's extraterrestrial life.
But okay, then I'll shoot this back at you.
Yeah.
Right? If there's an alien civilization out there, why would you assume that they're going to be nice to us? Like again, we're the only planet within our galaxy that has liquid water, right?
Yeah.
Wouldn't they just come to take all our resources?
That's a great question. And the thing is that, again, I'm not saying this is fact, right?
Yeah.
The theory, these are all theories and hypothetical. I mean, not hypotheticals, but like conjecture. People get, guessing. People have said that there are good aliens and there are also bad aliens too.
Okay.
There's a bad alien race out there that, they don't have our interests in mind,
Yeah.
right? But there's a lot of good alien races that are keeping them at bay, right? So there's millions of species out there is what the theory is,
Okay.
right? And there's and beyond that, it's infinite,
Okay.
So there are a lot of bad races, and there's the thing called the Galactic Federation.
Oh my
Oh, trust me.
What movie is this?
No, it's all my TikTok algorithm. Oh man! So there's a thing called the Galactic Federation.
Yes.
Man, trust me. Anytime whenever I scroll on TikTok, when the first words are Galactic Federation, I'm like, all right, they got me. I'm okay. Definitely when I'm going to post a clickbait for this podcast, it's going to be the Galactic Federation says, No, there's so many theories. Zaki, have I told you I've seen 4 UFOs myself?
Oh man, let me see.
Have I told you that?
No.
I've never told you that.
No.
Samir, have you heard this
news
story?
to me too.
You've never heard this
No.
story? So this is why I believe in it 100%. I've witnessed 4 UFOs myself, and it's by far the craziest thing I've seen in my life.
Okay.
Where?
And it happened here in Torrance, right? I'll tell you guys exactly what happened. All right. It's in 1996 where this happened. I'm in the passenger seat. I've never told you this either.
No.
So let me backtrack a little bit. This happened in 1996, right? And I wasn't alone. My brother was sitting next to me too. He saw him as well, right? Me and him have talked about it for years. Anytime there's any UFO footage, we look at it, we see it, whatever. I wasn't too open about it until around 2020 when the pandemic happened. And even prior to that, I told a few people, right?
Okay, yeah.
But when people hear, oh, you see UFOs, it was like some stigma attached to it. It sounds
Right.
crazy,
Yeah,
right?
totally.
No, and honestly, I don't care whether people believe me or not, because I know what I saw,
Yeah,
right? So I didn't care to share it with people because I was like, it's crazy to hear that, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And also people are like, oh, this guy's crazy, You probably think that right now as I'm saying this, right?
The Galactic Federation.
He's the CEO of it.
No, so I didn't share it with too many people. But when the pandemic happened, all of that, right? I said, you know what? I'm going to start being more open about it because so many crazy things were happening in 2020.
Yeah.
And I was like, aliens are going to come down and I'm going to be like, I saw UFOs back in 1996. And they're like, why didn't you say anything back then? So I started being more open about it.
Okay.
Okay. So I started sharing more, telling more people about it, right? Let me tell you what I saw. It's 1996, clear blue sky. It was around like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. My brother's driving. I'm in the passenger seat. We're going on the 405 South, right by Western exit, right off here, 405, right?
Yeah.
We're in full rush hour traffic. I'm looking out. I see 4 objects in the sky, lined up vertically, right?
Like orbs.
No, they were diamond shaped,
Okay.
right? Each one was a diamond shaped thing.
Okay.
And I'm looking at them. You can see the shape. They're like diamond, right? The color is silver metallic, right? Like the sun is literally reflecting off of them, right? And I'm looking at them and I'm telling you, when you see something like that, I wasn't like, oh my God, UFOs, aliens. I was literally just looking at it like, what is that?
Yeah.
Right? What am I
Right.
looking at? Like your brain can't computate what you're looking at,
Yeah.
right? And when I say it was just stuck in the sky, it wasn't moving, it wasn't floating, it wasn't hovering, it was just there, not moving at all. Like like as if somebody drew them into the sky, right?
Interesting.
4 of them, literally lined up vertically, 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm just sitting there looking at it. My brother says, hey, do you see that? Right? And I go, yeah. He goes, what is that? And I go, I don't know. Right? So he sees them too.
Right.
He's driving. I'm in the passenger seat. I'm literally fixated on them.
Yeah.
Right? Looking at him completely
Right.
like, what the heck is that? Right? And this is over the 405 freeway, right? So there have to be hundreds, if not thousands, of other people seeing it.
Yeah.
This is 1996. No cell phone cameras,
Right.
nothing like that, right? No Reddit, no, I couldn't go online to like post about it, right?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
internet was in its early days, right?
Yeah.
So anyways, I'm looking at them. The two in the middle rotate outwards. So this is after 20 seconds of them just staying stationary in the sky, right? Two in the middle rotate outwards like that.
Wow.
And now they make a diamond
Diamond
formation.
itself, yeah.
Right? They're in a diamond formation. And I'm telling you, it was just in sync. The two in the middle, one went to the left, one went to the right, just like that. Right? And I'm just like watching them, right? They're there for like another 20 seconds, 15, 20 seconds, right? Not moving at all. All of a sudden, all four simultaneously, you can see them all leave and gone in 1 second.
Wow.
Like it took 1 second for them just to move out of the sight.
Wow.
And we're just like, what did we just see right now, right? So that happened, right? Fast forward to 2020, right? I'm being more open about it. I'm sharing it with more people, right? And so there's another part to this story. One of my friends, she posted a thing on Instagram. Oh, do you believe in UFOs or aliens?
Yeah.
I said yes. And me and her messaging. She's from Panama, right? Me and her messaging back and forth, and she's like, "Oh," and I shared her my whole story.
Yeah.
She was like, "Oh, do you mind if I share this with you?" Right? Share this story. So I go for it. She screenshots it and says, "Do you believe him? Yes or no?" Right? Again, I don't care if people believe me or not, but I was still curious. I was like, let me look at the vote, right? It was 50-50, like that, right?
Yeah.
She messages me a little bit later. She goes, "You're not going to believe this." I go, "What happened?" She goes, one of her friends who's from Argentina, right, messages her, says, "I believe your friend 100%. And she's like, "Why?" And she's like, she said, "This is my friend's friend," said, she showed her dad what I posted. Her dad said he saw the exact same thing that I saw in Argentina.
No way.
Down to
In 1996?
That was literally my question to her.
Yeah.
Right? He said everything I said, he saw the exact same thing. He saw four of them diamond shaped, vertically lined up, moving out and moving like that, right? In 1990, sorry. I asked him that exact question. I was like, what year did he see it, right?
Yeah.
I never got the answer to that because it was like my friend's dad. She's like, "Oh, I'll ask," but then I never followed up. I really should follow up with that, right? But he saw the exact same thing, right? So that's my encounter, right?
That's pretty wild.
And so the thing I tell everybody too, this is such an unbelievable story, right? Me just sharing it with you is not going to make you a believer, right?
Yeah.
For you to, it takes you to see it yourself for you to believe something so unbelievable,
Right.
Yeah.
right? Like to see extraterrestrials or UFOs, right? Until you see it yourself, you're not going to believe it, and that's what, and I get that, right?
Yeah.
Because honestly, I'm the biggest skeptic when it comes to things too. If somebody were to tell me my story, I'd be like, no, it was probably something else. You probably missaw it,
Maybe it
right?
was a drone. And
Yeah. No,
It's probably a reflection.
Maybe it was a drone or
no,
in the stages of
no,
drones or something, right?
No, 100%.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing. Now, anytime there's UFO conversations, it's a drone, right?
Right.
Back in 1950s, it was a weather balloon, right? That was the
Yeah,
term.
true.
Now we're in 2025. It's drones every time. Drone. Have you guys seen drones? Drones are like this big, you know? These things are not. There's no drones that are that big besides military capability, right?
Yeah.
And military capabilities. I haven't seen a drone that is like that at all.
Yeah.
You know. And again, I'm not privy to all military technology. You know?
I mean, they do hold back information from the public, right? Like internet
100%.
itself was like 40 years after the fact was released.
Sure, but that, I mean, again, that's why I'm saying I'm not here to make you guys believers just yet. You know, until you see it yourself. I'm telling you, there's something out there, man.
I just
wouldn't be
think,
surprised. I'm saying I wouldn't be surprised if
Yeah.
something is, but like you said, I think all of us, we got to see it to believe it, right?
I just think like anything zooming across the sky like that, like it would create so much G-force, it would literally rip a human in half.
So that's one of the things they have do you guys know who Bob Lazar is?
I do not know.
No, sounds familiar though.
Oh my God, I'm about to blow your guys' mind. Bob Lazar is one of the most famous UFO whistleblowers there is. He worked at Area 51.
Okay.
Right? He said he sat in UFOs, right?
Really?
And he said they're made for like 3 feet tall people, right? And he said he's literally worked at Area 51 and he's worked within UFO. They're trying to replicate the technology, right? And he describes their propulsion system. They create their own gravitational pull.
Yeah, like anti-gravity.
Anti-gravity stuff, right?
Yeah.
So he came out in like 1980, and he talked about this element in the. It's not even on the periodic table, right? He described this element 115 or something. I forget the exact name. It became an element 20 years after he mentioned it, right?
Wow.
And he said that's the fuel for these UFO craft, right? So this guy, he said, yes, the U.S. government has 12 different UFO crafts that they were trying to replicate technology on. And he said he's worked at Area 51. He's been on the Joe Rogan podcast, and he's talked about everything about it. Like, it's a great.
Joe Rogan is amazing.
Yeah, and Joe Rogan talks about UFOs a lot too. If you guys watch Joe Rogan?
I watch the shows. Yeah.
Yeah, he talks about UFOs a lot. But man, I'm telling you, there's a whole nother world of UFO talk right here, man.
I know.
These,
Big skeptic.
Have you guys seen the video of that lady who just gets off the airplane saying there's something crazy back there? The guy sitting next to her?
Yeah, what happened to that?
Have you seen that video?
Oh, yeah, I saw that video, yeah.
They can either believe it or they cannot believe it. I don't give two but I am telling you right now, that mother back there is not real. And you can sit on this plane and you can die with them or not. I'm not going to.
That supposedly the person next to her, it wasn't human. Right?
Really?
Yeah, that's what the
That's what she said?
Yes, she was like, that guy back there, there's something up with him, and like she was frantically getting off the plane because he was sitting next to her.
Maybe
that's what everybody thinks.
That's what I would think too. Or it's a jinn. That's where I'm going.
No, and so the whole thing
Jinns
about
ain't gonna take a flight. They just fly.
okay.
But you get possessed by one. It's something different.
So going on the whole jinn topic, right?
Yeah.
Jinns have been, the concept of jinns is in the Quran, right? Right. Think about it this way: what if jinn are interdimensional species, and people don't know how to describe it? So hey, they're jinn.
Well, that's why I believe
right?
there's extraterrestrial beings out here, and they could be in the form of aliens. They could be outside of Earth, for example, too. So we don't know what we don't know, but that's why I say I believe that there is something. I don't know what it is. To what extent?
Have you guys heard of the Miami Mall incident?
No.
Have you?
You read a lot on it. Let's hear about it.
Oh my God, where have you guys been? The Miami Mall incident, really?
We're just not in the threads of Reddit.
We didn't make the Reddit pages.
Okay. There's two humongous events that happened last year. One of them was the Miami Mall incident, right? This thing that happened in Miami Mall is crazy, right? And there's literally 3 alien beings, or they call them interdimensional beings, 9 foot tall, showed up at the Miami Mall, right? Sending everybody in a panic.
I think I've heard this.
Right? Think about this. Everybody in the mall is screaming and running out, right? And you could see the videos of it, right? There's not one security footage that's been released from the Miami Mall, right? There's literally, if you look outside of it, there's 100, if not 150 police cars outside the Miami Mall, just lined up, all with their lights on, right? They said, this is what the official report was, there was a fight at the mall. They're not sending close to 200 cop cars for a fight, right? They're saying, oh, these high school. And then not one footage from the mall showed the fight.
That's what I was going to ask you. Yeah.
Was
there footage of the aliens?
So what people who were at the mall said, as they were running out, cops stopped them and confiscated their phones.
No way.
Yes, that's what this person said. And another person said, hey, they took out their phone, right? It wasn't working. Their phones were all dead. Because one of the things that the theory is, they have like this, like the aliens themselves have this, like they give off this electromagnetic pulse or something that just stops electronic devices from working.
Like a UMP.
So it kind of, yes. Yeah. So they're saying these 9 foot tall aliens showed up at the Miami Mall. So now everybody's saying the Miami Mall. Why would they come there?
Yeah. Why?
Right? Nobody knows really.
For the women.
Okay.
I'm kidding.
No, they're like, why? What happened? They and this is one of the theories, right? They flipped the latitude and longitude of the Miami Mall, and guess what it was?
What?
Antarctica. Do you guys know about Antarctica?
Yeah, I hear.
Antarctica is the supposed hub for alien
aliens.
alien
Yeah, I've heard that
activity.
before.
Yeah.
Because one, not anybody can go into Antarctica.
So what, you think the aliens took a wrong turn and showed
I
up in
think
my
they put
Put the wrong thing to the GPS system.
Okay, and
Fat finger.
the last one I'm gonna hit you guys. The last one I'm gonna hit you guys with.
Okay.
Have you guys heard of the Las Vegas alien story? Have you heard that?
No,
one?
no.
Oh lordy, this family, right? A Hispanic family,
Yeah.
right? One 16-year-old, one 18-year-old, and a mom and dad. The kid calls the police. And you can hear the recording. He's frantic. He goes, "Please send police to our house right now. There's something in our backyard. It's not human," right? Mm-hmm. And the guy, and like I'm getting chills because I've heard the call, I've seen it, right?
Yeah.
And I'll tell you about the situation. He calls and he goes, "Please, there's something in our backyard.
Yeah.
It's 8 feet tall, 9 feet tall. It's not human. Please, we're scared. Send it right now." And he goes, "This is not a hoax. This is not a joke. Please, we're scared. Come right now." Right? Wow. This is what happens though. The police, meanwhile, while this was happening, police wear body cam footage.
Yeah.
Right? There's police in the neighborhood, right? You can see the body cam footage. Like somebody compiled all of this, right?
Yeah.
They're talking to somebody else, unrelated to it. In the body cam footage, you see in the back something flying, like a blue light, going straight into the neighborhood. Right there, right? The police who responded says, "Hey, we got your call," and he goes, "I'm not gonna lie to you. We're taking this seriously because my partner saw the thing flying into the neighborhood, saw a UFO flying into the neighborhood." The cop says this on the body cam.
Yeah, that's trippy.
Right? And they've released the family. The mom is holding a camera.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Right? The three of them all have handguns. They're in their backyard. Like, what the heck is being in our backyard? This
Yeah.
is before the 911 call. Right? They're walking to the gate, where it is. You see all of them like walking. They have handguns in their hand. Right?
Uh-huh.
They're walking, and this video has been analyzed to the death. Right? Like,
Okay.
what did they see? You see, all of a sudden, all three of them react the same way. They get startled, jump back, and run back, right?
Sheesh.
Because they saw something standing there.
Yeah.
Right.
They have guns in their hand, and at that point, they still came back, right? And they said they saw alien beings there, right?
Uh-huh.
And here's the crazy part, right? This whole incident happened in May, right? May 2023, I want to say. It didn't go viral until June 2023, right? About a month later, right? This whole situation,
Wow.
right? But here's the crazy part. NSA, all of these are like government agencies put up cameras in their backyard in between that, before it went viral in May 15th.
Okay.
They asked them, "Hey, why'd you put up cameras?" They were like, "Oh, to protect the family because this is a viral clip," right?
Yeah.
They asked them that after it went viral, right? They were like, "Hey, this didn't go viral until June.
Yeah.
You put up these cameras 2 weeks before that. Why'd you put up cameras before that?" Right? So they lied about that. It wasn't because to protect
Sure.
the family from the viral. They were trying to investigate that whole situation. And they've had AI technology look at they had these computers technology analyze the video that they shot.
Yeah, what did it say?
Right? They were trying to debunk it, right?
Yeah.
The footage came back. They showed this being that's kind of like an outline holographic thing standing right next to them in the fence, right? But you can't see it. But the computer picked up this outline of this image that was distorting it, right? It's a crazy video.
That's pretty
And,
cool.
and everybody, I've looked at the video, I personally hadn't seen anything, right? It's when the guy says, the kid says, even without video, he said, when I looked at it, it looked blurry with his eyes, right? So the theory is they have some type of technology to like prevent them from being seen, right? He said, when I looked into the backyard, it just looked like a blurred image. And that's crazy stuff, man.
That's pretty crazy. But okay, so you in your stories, right?
Yeah.
You described aliens, and they all look different.
Yeah.
Right. So it's different species.
Different species.
Well, I see it like the other way I look at it is like, I
hard to
personally
believe.
believe in jinns,
Everyone
for
knows
example,
about
which
it.
is an extraterrestrial being.
Yeah.
This could have been a jinn, for example.
Yeah.
Who knows if they're from say Mars, whatever, or
Yeah, yeah.
in Earth somewhere, right?
Yeah.
But I do believe there's like extraterrestrial beings of some kind, whether we call aliens
Yeah,
or what
yeah,
they
exactly.
are. It could have been a jinn. That's how I look at it. too.
100,
So,
100%. I mean,
I could agree with that.
I mean, we can change the wording around. I mean,
Sure.
to one person it's a jinn, to another person
Yeah.
it's an interdimensional species. You
Yeah,
know,
we don't know.
exactly. You know,
I agree.
Zaki, this last MBL season, me and Samir got into it.
We did.
Wait,
No, really.
we gotta get that on the podcast.
Really, me and him got into it, like in the game.
Yeah, man, I think he's gonna walk off the court.
Yeah. No, really, 100%. Me and him fought.
Like pot.
Not physical,
yeah,
but like argue.
Okay,
And like I was mad at him, he was mad at me. It was legit. Okay, let's explore that a little bit.
go
We're
for
still, the cameras are still rolling, right? No, legitimately, me and him got into it.
How did it happen?
Let me tell you. So obviously, what's it called? So I hurt my finger,
Yeah.
right? And first of all, let me just say this right now. I love Sam.
Yeah, he's my boy. So it doesn't matter.
Sam's
Yeah.
my guy, right? And so I hurt my finger, right?
Yeah.
And let me tell you, going into the MBL season 2, I told these guys, hey, I'm gonna come off the bench, right? And I told Samir's the team captain for our team,
Yeah.
right? And he was gracious enough to add me to the team, whatever, right? And I said, hey, whatever you need to use me as, I'll do it, right?
Uh-huh.
And it actually, and then on top of that, I hurt my finger in the 3rd game into the season out of a
Okay.
10-game schedule.
Yeah.
So I literally didn't play from the 3rd game to like the 8th or 9th game.
Okay.
Like I didn't even play, right?
Uh-huh.
Except spot minutes.
Minutes, yeah, we had
just to like check in the game,
Yeah.
just to get me in, right? So I didn't really even play the whole season, minus those first 2 games, right?
And this whole time you were shooting with the light.
So the 9th, I was in the gym training with my left, right? Yeah, and then because I honestly, when this injury happened, I couldn't even dribble the ball.
Yeah.
You couldn't even shoot. Like I couldn't put pressure on this
pain.
finger at all. It was that. Like I'm telling you, I couldn't throw it past like this table, right? So I was like, man, but I love basketball,
Yeah.
right? And I was like, what the heck? I can't like not play. So I literally started practicing with my left.
Nice.
So anyways, then we played that game, whatever. Then fast forward, now we're in playoffs, right? Okay. And let me tell you, my hand, right? At this point now, after like the first few weeks, I couldn't put pressure on it, but I was still in the gym. Then at that point, I could start shooting now with my right again,
Yeah.
and I was right. And I think I told these guys, I was like, hey guys, I've been in the gym. My shot's still money. It's there,
Yeah.
right? Okay. It was good, right? But the thing is, okay, so we went into playoffs now, right? My plan was, my fingers, like, it's still messed up now,
Yeah.
right? My plan was to try to still not play if we can get away with it,
Yeah.
right? So, but in playoffs, we do best of 3 series,
Okay.
right? So if we had won the first game, I wasn't going to play game 2
Yeah.
because I was like, cool, we don't need me,
Yeah.
right? We won game 1. Let's win game 2. I can keep on resting my hand,
Yeah.
right? So I was never gonna play game 1, and on top of that, I planned to cruise that
Yeah,
game.
he was away partying it up somewhere.
Amir Ashraf tried to steal me away anyway. So we went on a cruise for game 1,
Yeah.
right? It just happened. I'm mad that I scheduled it that way.
It
right?
was what it was.
Yeah, it happened, right? But I wasn't planning on playing game 1 anyway, just to see if they could win, right?
Yeah.
So game 1 happens, they lose,
Yeah.
right? So now we're about to get eliminated,
Yeah.
right? Okay. Game 2 comes on, right? And it's your boy, right? I was like, listen, we're not losing. I'm playing this game,
Sam
right?
benched you?
Right?
Okay, he started. That's how it is.
I told him, hey, we need to win this game. I'm playing now,
Yeah.
right? So I started, right? And so we're playing, and it's a close game,
Yeah.
right?
First quarter, right? Or second quarter. I think.
It was such a low-scoring game,
It was,
too,
yeah,
right?
it was like a second quarter,
Yeah.
I think, at this point.
And then it was literally we're losing, right?
Uh-huh.
It was like 5-8. It was such a low-scoring game, right? Samir subs me out, Okay. No problem. I wasn't upset about
To
that.
get a breather, yeah, to get a breather.
So he subs me out. Okay. Cool. I go to the bench and I sit down. Right. Okay. And then I'm watching. We start losing by more. Like we're losing by like 3. Now we're losing by like 5 or 7. It's and we couldn't score ourselves. So that 7 point like low is scary, right?
Yeah.
But anyways, I'm sitting out. Okay. The quarter ends. Second quarter is about to start. It was second quarter, right?
Yeah, so
something like that.
So I think so. What I was trying to do, just to back up a little bit, we have 9 players on the roster,
Yeah.
right?
We have a
So
lot.
try to manage 9 people plus playing time plus whatever. At the end of the day, it's a rec league, so it's like, hey, but we want to win. Everyone's
It's playoffs.
we all want to win.
Yeah.
We're all like, hey, we need to win, like whatever. So
Yeah.
along with that, try to manage that many people and make sure
With 9 people's
certain
a lot,
people
right?
are able to.
Okay.
Yeah, normally we run with 8 and 7 play normally, and
Yeah.
but it was whatever it was, right? So I think with 2 minutes left, I was like, okay, we'll take May out, bring him in at like the 8-minute mark. That was my thinking, right? And I'm like, when May's in, we could bring out some of the other starters because May can run with the second unit really well. That was my philosophy. But we didn't talk about it before the game. For the record.
My perspective, I could play with any unit.
100%. And I don't think anybody doubted that.
Yeah.
All right. But anyway, that was the background.
Okay, so then what happens is, okay, second quarter starts, right? And I'm like, cool, I got my breather. We're down now. It's time for me to get back in.
Yeah.
So I walk back on the court. Okay. I was thinking, hey, it's understood. Like, let's get the big dog back out there.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. And then they're like, I remember like Samir's like, oh, or Samir or Zoe, they're like, hey, what are you doing? You need to come back out. I was like, what are you guys talking about? I was like, and then like Samir's like, oh, come. And I was just like, what is you guys talking about? And then so I go back out, and now I'm upset.
Yeah. And then literally, so it was like 2 more minutes. Hey, like,
I was like, no, okay. So my whole perspective is, it's playoffs now, right? We don't need to worry about having full 9 guys play during playoffs, especially elimination game. Right? We're already down. We lost the first game. Right? We're down. If we lose this game, then that's it. We're done. You know. And honestly, I had a lot of faith in our team to win it all the way. Right? And I was like, man, if we just get past this team, I don't see anybody beating us. Right? And I was like, we just gotta win this game. Right? And then I was like, but you can't worry about, okay, 9 players is a lot of players.
Yeah.
You can't get 9 people out of the game. And my whole thing was, hey, all of these 9 players got to play during the regular season. A lot, right? Because I'm telling you, I played 2-3 minutes a game during the regular season. They got their time then, you know?
Yeah, true.
Playoffs, we got to just put the best lineup in. We got to win. And on top of that, we're down at that. That's my perspective about it, right?
But yeah, we're allowed to have, like, we're respectfully, we can have different perspectives on certain things.
So I was saying all of that stuff. I was like, we can't get, I was like, hey, listen, no problem. You guys play. I'm done.
Literally, I was like, we had 2 minutes into it.
Yeah. I said, hey, you know what? You guys don't. I told her, I go, hey Sam, no worries. You want them to play? Go for it. I'm done playing. You guys enjoy. Good luck. I'm start taking my shoes off.
No.
It wasn't in that calm of a voice, for the record.
Okay. And meanwhile, Feroz, he's sitting on the bench with me. He's like, "Oh, come on, May, don't do that." He's like, "Oh, you like Feroz looked so defeated in that moment, right?" And then I was just, I don't know, I was just like so upset. I was like, "Come on, we're down," you know. That I guess that heightened the whole situation. Then some other players had some words for me on the bench, right? Okay, and
now our team's like arguing on the sideline.
And honestly, I'm gonna put up the footage of this. We're literally like going at it, like people are separating us, right? And then I was like, because somebody said some words to me, I said, well, I was like, what are you trying to, what the heck, you know? But anyways, that whole situation happened. Then, what's it called? Then I get back in the game, and I'm like so angry. So I'm back in the game now, right? I was so like worked up, I took it out on the other team. I went super aggressive, like just attacking them, and I was just every time I looked at a shot, I looked at Samir. I was like,
no. So the thing was, So the thing was that actually motivated our team to play so much better because we were playing like pretty bad at that point.
Down.
You guys won.
Oh yeah, so we ended up winning that game, right? And then we had a post-game team meeting, right? And I was like, listen, you guys want to win? I don't need to be subbed out at all. I go, hey, listen, I know I've been injured all year long, but I'm okay. And if you want to win, I'm not getting subbed out. I said that. And then later, and then the thing is, it wasn't about Samir or any other player, you know. It was just like, hey, I want to win, you know?
Yeah, but we all wanted to win, right? So that came out. It came out pretty arrogant at the time. We talked about it after, right?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
we're like, look. At the end of the day, we're playing league. It's a rec league. We all want to win.
Yeah.
But we were fighting over 2 minutes. That's why I was like, this is like not worth it.
It was 2 more minutes than I needed to be on.
That's what it was. But we talked about it. It was good after that.
And throughout the week, later on, I was like, hey, Samir, my bad, right? I go, hey, listen. I messaged Samir. I was like, hey, listen. I'll play whatever minutes you want. Sub me out, no problem. I took back my whole requirement that I need to be in the thing.
The problem with 9 people, it gets so hard to manage, right?
No,
That's the thing.
Yeah.
And May is one of our best players, our best player on the team, right? So top 2 because someone else took the MVP this year from you. But May also, honestly, that could have gone either way because what's not on the stat sheet is the defense. The defensive presence we had with May on the court is why we won that game. Offense came to us, we worked it out, but he was in the middle just like every shot was being like shot a different way, and it helped a lot, like for the record.
And let me just say that too. I mean, having Jay-Z won our Finals MVP, and honestly, I'm so happy about that. You know, like, and I don't need to be like the guy who gets the award for the MVP because honestly, it helps our team when we have other options and weapons like that. You know, and I mean, my guys know what I brought to the team. You know, so I'm happy.
We had a great time.
Well,
we had a great season. We had a great group of guys. And the good thing also, I will say, we can all be honest with each other, real with each other. At the end of the day, it is what it is. It's
in the heat of the battle, you know. But me and Sam really got into that, because I remember one of the timeout, like during the timeouts or during maybe halftime, like I'm walking back to the bench, I go right by Samir. I don't give like he's putting out his time.
I got pissed at this time. Yeah, I was like,
he put his hand, and then I just walk right by me. Samir's like, oh, so it's gonna be like that?
Yeah. I was so heated at that point.
They got heated, but honestly. And then I actually talked to his brother Zoe on the phone. I was like, Zoe, let me make this clear. It's not about you too, you know. It wasn't because Zoe's my boy too, you know. Like I've had, you know, Zoe's a good friend of mine too. So it wasn't about Zoe or any of the players. It wasn't anything like that. It was just more my desire of like, hey, I need to be out there to play.
Every team needs to go through it to win. All right, that's really what it is, you know. And making a return next season, huh?
You know, you know what the thing is, free agency. Okay, so let's talk about that, Sam.
Let's talk about it.
Free agency opened up December 1st at midnight. I didn't get a call from you at all.
You got a call? I thought it was written in our contract already, in our friendship agreement that you're running with us already.
I got so many calls from so many GMs, but one GM didn't call me at midnight. You know, and the GM that I was expecting to be calling me the first thing. I spoke to him in person. Outside my house.
I spoke to him in person. You know, we hung out after. I'm like, man, you can't. He's like, I know. We actually hung out all night after.
So let me tell you this. Officially here on the First Drive podcast, you heard it here first. I'm definitely open to running it back with the team.
Yeah.
I think we won the championship. Yeah. Right. I think if anything, we should run it back. You know.
I think so too.
With the team. I mean, we got to defend our title.
Yeah.
Agreed. So. Is this a signing?
Whoa! I gotta mix some press around.
Well, that handshake was just to say, "Hey, Sam, you're my boy." No, we got to see what's happening with the roster.
Like, by the way, Samir, you've been dropped off the team now.
No,
running back with that.
No, I may have some requirements and some requests from the star player. No, but we got into it that game. But you'll see it all. It
was all love.
You'll see it all in the documentary that comes out in 15 years about this team. You know what? I think that should wrap up our episode today. I mean, we hit a few different topics, you know. But no, I wanted to thank both of you guys for being on. I mean, we're just coming on here, hanging out, talking, and kind of using you, Zachy, as an excuse to get together and like kind of dive in and hear about your life a little bit, you know.
Yeah, it was great. It's awesome. You know, I think the community doesn't really speak about it, you know, things that they do or what they're involved in. So you know, providing that platform it's amazing.
Absolutely.
No, thank you. Sam, thanks so much too for
coming on. Of course,
you
know, again, this platform was great. For those that don't know, for the Most of Basketball League, you know, Morose took this platform to create real stories, conspiracy theories as well to drive hype around that. So, you know, thankful to have that available.
I appreciate those words, Sam. You know, I mean, end of the day, we're all here to have fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
And just to have fun with it. You know? So that's my goal with this whole thing. You
absolutely.
know, and just, you know, get together and hang out with some friends and talk and just have some good times.
There we go.
All All right. Well, thanks everybody for joining. Maheen, apologize for taking Zaki away from you for the night, but appreciate everybody, and we'll see you guys in the next episode.
Samir's a very interesting guy. Samir's always been on another basketball team, Ittihad. He actually joined our basketball team this past season for the first time, and it was a really new experience playing with Samir. The thing is, Samir's a younger basketball player, and he joined, David Tran, one of my good friends, for like 10 years. And we've been playing together for a long time. And the very first game in the huddle, Samir started yelling at David, who's been playing for a long time. He started yelling at David what to do, and he made his really good first impression on David. And David told me after the game he wants Samir off the team. And needless to say, this upcoming season, Samir's not on the team anymore.
Hello everyone. Those are some tough acts to follow. First of all, I want to say happy birthday, Miroz. First off, we'll start talking about Ali. How you doing, Ali? Liking something? Not police watch my house. No, I'm joking.
What?
I'm done, alright. Actually, so when he had all those issues with the civil rights stuff, Rose was actually his lawyer back then, like they hung out a lot in the 70s or 60s, right? 60s, right? Anyways, let's move on to Ali. Asif Quraishi. Who here has got into a fire argument with Asif Quraishi? Raise your hand. I'm sure it's like 90% of you guys here trying to. And let's go to Zaid. Zaid Filthy Machu. In case you didn't know. If you don't know who he is, guys and girls, check your posts on Facebook. he'll be there somewhere. So, and your little brothers and sisters too. So.
I learned that one from Miroz.
Miroz will be right under him, actually. So Miroz, if you don't know him, I'm sure you guys all know him, but he's very polite. He always addresses everyone with their first and last name. He's always like Samir Malvi or Asif Quraishi. He never says their one name only. Happy birthday, Miroz. Thanks for always having my back. And I'm done. Passing it on. Ali.
Come over. Ali, I didn't get you that bad.
Alright, let's start off with my brother.
Fresh Chat Podcast.